Picture this. One day you hear a voice. Not just any voice, it's God. And he tells you something you can hardly believe. A massive flood is coming. The entire earth will be covered in water and everything will be wiped out. But he gives you a mission to build a massive boat, save your family, and preserve every species of animal. Now, imagine what would go through your mind. What would you feel? Would you even believe it? Or would you question your sanity? This is the story of Noah's Ark. But here's the thing. It's not just about a flood or a giant boat. It's about faith, obedience, and the courage to do what's right, even when the world mocks you. Today, we're diving deep into what this story truly means. Not just for ancient times, but for us today. Stick around, because by the end of the video, you'll see why Noah's story is one of the most powerful lessons about trust, resilience, and hope. Let's rewind to the very beginning. According to the Bible, humanity had drifted far from God's design. People were corrupt, selfish, and violent. The book of Genesis tells us that God saw the earth was filled with wickedness, and every inclination of the human heart was evil all the time. What does it even mean to live in a world like that? Think of a society where lies, greed, and cruelty were the norm. A place where people acted without regard for each other or for the creator who made them. Does that sound far-fetched? Maybe not. Even in today's world, we see brokenness. From injustice and division to environmental destruction and conflict, it's not hard to relate to a world that's out of sync. But even in this mess, there was one man who stood out: Noah. The Bible describes him as a righteous man, blameless among the people of his time. Now, this doesn't mean Noah was perfect. Far from it. It means he had a heart that sought after God. He lived differently. When God told Noah to build the ark, it wasn't just a casual suggestion. It was a monumental task that required incredible faith and persistence. Imagine the sheer weight of the command. Build a structure so massive that it could house your family, 2 of every animal, and enough provisions to last through an unimaginable flood. The ark was about the size of a modern cargo ship, built without the benefit of advanced tools or machinery. But the physical challenge wasn't the only hurdle Noah faced. Consider the social pressure. Noah was building this colossal ark in the middle of dry land with no rain in sight. Picture the reactions of his neighbors. The raised eyebrows, the ridicule, the constant questions. Why are you building this? Where's the flood, Noah? Yet despite the odds, he pressed on. He didn't have the luxury of seeing the full picture, but he trusted in the one who did. This brings us to an essential truth. Faith isn't passive, it's active. Noah's faith wasn't just about believing that a flood would come. It was about acting on God's instructions day after day, year after year, even when the skies were clear and the skeptics were loud. Building the ark wasn't a weekend project. It took decades to complete. During that time, Noah's trust in God must have been tested countless times. Yet, he persevered, driven by the belief that God's plan was bigger than his doubts and the ridicule of those around him. Noah's example challenges us to reflect on our own lives. How often do we hesitate when faced with something that requires faith and persistence? Whether it's pursuing a dream, mending a relationship, or stepping into an unknown path, we're often tempted to wait for more certainty or validation. But Noah's story shows us that faith sometimes means moving forward even when we don't fully understand the destination. It's about trusting that each step of obedience is part of a greater purpose, even if it doesn't make sense at the moment. Through Noah's unwavering commitment, we're reminded that faith isn't just about hearing God's call. It's about acting on it, no matter the obstacles. And in doing so, we position ourselves to witness his plans unfold in ways that go beyond what we could ever imagine. Noah's Ark wasn't just a lifeboat. It was a testament to the power of trust, resilience, and obedience in the face of uncertainty. Finally, the moment came. The ark was finished and Noah, his family, and the animals boarded. Then the rains began. But this wasn't your average rainstorm. Water poured from the skies and burst forth from the ground. For 40 days and 40 nights, the earth was flooded. Everything was submerged, and all life outside the ark was lost. Now, let's address a tough question. Why would God bring such a devastating flood? At first glance, this might seem harsh, but when we dig deeper, we see that the flood wasn't just about judgment, it was about renewal. Think about it like this. When your computer crashes and becomes completely unresponsive, what do? You hit the reset button. The flood was like a divine reset for humanity, a chance to wipe away corruption and start over. But here's the beautiful part. God didn't abandon humanity. He saved Noah and his family as a sign of hope. Have you ever faced a moment in your life where everything seemed to fall apart? Maybe it felt like your own personal flood, a breakup, a failure, a loss. But often those moments of destruction are also opportunities for growth and renewal. The flood reminds us that even in the darkest times, there's a chance to start again. Now let's talk about what it was like for Noah and his family on the ark. Imagine being stuck on a boat for over a year, with no land in sight, surrounded by animals of every kind. Sure, the ark was a place of safety, but it wasn't exactly comfortable. The constant noise, the smells, the confined space, it must have tested their patience and endurance. But through it all, they waited. They trusted that the storm wouldn't last forever. Here's another lesson for us. Sometimes life feels like a long waiting period. We pray, we work, we endure, but we don't see immediate results. Noah's story reminds us that waiting is part of the journey, and that the best things often come after a season of patience. When the waters finally receded, Noah and his family stepped onto dry land. Imagine that moment. The relief, the gratitude, the sense of starting fresh. And then God did something extraordinary. He placed a rainbow in the sky, a sign of his covenant with humanity. The rainbow was a promise. Never again would he destroy the earth with a flood. But this wasn't just about water. The rainbow was a symbol of God's mercy, his grace, and his faithfulness. It was a reminder that no matter how broken the world becomes, there's always hope. The story of Noah's flood holds timeless relevance for us in the 21st century because its themes transcend the historical context of the ancient world. In our fast-paced, often chaotic lives, the core lessons from this ancient tale speak to our personal struggles and broader societal challenges. Takeaway 1: faith. In a world filled with uncertainty, it's easy to feel lost or question the direction we're headed. Noah's story teaches us the importance of having faith in a greater plan, even when we don't fully understand the path before us. Noah's journey wasn't marked by immediate clarity. He had to trust in God's guidance despite not knowing how it would all work out. Similarly, we may face situations in our lives where we can't see the full picture or anticipate the challenges ahead. But trusting in a higher purpose can give us the strength and perspective to move forward. Takeaway 2: obedience. Obedience in this context is about acting with conviction even when it's difficult or doesn't make sense. Noah's obedience to God's instruction required patience and perseverance as he worked tirelessly to build the ark while others may have mocked or misunderstood him. In our lives, we often face moments when doing what's right, following our moral compass, or staying true to our beliefs requires hard work and sometimes sacrifices. But like Noah, our actions can have a profound impact, not just on our lives, but on the lives of others and the world around us. And finally, takeaway 3: hope. The flood wasn't the end of the story. It marked a new chapter for humanity. After the storm, the rainbow emerged as a symbol of hope, reminding us that even in our darkest moments, renewal and restoration are possible. Life is full of challenges, and we may sometimes feel overwhelmed by hardship or despair, but the rainbow teaches us that after the storm, there's the promise of better days ahead. It's a call to keep going, knowing that we're not abandoned and that after every trial, there is the potential for growth, healing and new beginnings. Here's the big question. What's your arc? What's the thing you're being called to build or pursue even when it feels daunting? In life, we all have dreams, aspirations, or challenges that feel bigger than us. Whether it's pursuing a career, building a meaningful relationship, or taking a leap forward towards something unknown. These pursuits can often seem daunting, and it's easy to feel that we're not equipped, not good enough, or not ready to handle what lies ahead. But Noah's story reminds us that you don't need to be perfect to make an impact. You just need the courage to step forward with trust, action, and perseverance. Noah didn't have all the answers, and he wasn't without flaws. Yet he placed his trust in something larger than himself, God's plan. In our lives, trust is essential. We don't always know the full scope of what we're getting into, and there may be moments of doubt or fear along the way. But when we trust in the process, the people around us, or a greater purpose, we align ourselves with something that can propel us forward. It's the willingness to believe that even when things don't make sense, there is something greater at work. Thanks for watching the Bible Unveiled. If this story inspired you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who might need encouragement today. See you next time.